Hello and welcome to Coach Rose Sports. This is Coverages 101. This video is intended for beginner defensive backs as we'll be covering the basics of that position today. First up, Cover 1. Cover 1 is a man-to-man coverage with one safety over top. For cornerbacks, your alignment in off Cover 1 is 8 yards deep and 1 yard inside of the outside number receiver. However, you want to be hit up with the number 1 receiver if he's bunched in tight. If you're pressed, you want to keep the inside shade but stay square. If he releases inside, strike with your inside hand, but if he releases outside, strike with your outside hand. For the strong safety or the safety that rolls down, if there's a slot or tight end and the corner is pressed, you want to play squared up 7 to 8 yards off the ball. However, if the cornerback is off, you want to play the slot or tight end pressed. The free safety or the safety over top will have deep coverage and help over top. Cover 2 is a 2 deep zone coverage. For cornerbacks, if you're in off coverage, you want to be 5 yards deep with your inside foot in line with the wide receiver's outside foot. If you're pressed, you want to take outside shade and force him inside. The cornerback's alignment in this coverage is the curl flat zone. From the sideline to the hash marks and 10 yards deep, you want to jam the number 1 receiver inside to the safety help. In addition, stay aware of the number 2 and number 3 receiver on your side if they are going to come into your zone. The safety's alignment in cover 2 is 10 yards deep and about 2 yards outside of the last man on the line of scrimmage. It's either going to be a tight end or an offensive tackle. You want to get further outside if there's a slot receiver, about 2 yards inside of him. Your responsibility is deep half of the field. Nothing gets behind you. Cover 3 is a 3 deep zone over top. The corners in this coverage, their alignment will be 8 yards deep and an outside shade. Their inside foot should be in line with the receiver's outside foot. In this coverage, you want to stay square to the line of scrimmage. I see a lot of times cornerbacks want to face inside, but that's a big key to the quarterback or what coverage you're in. The cornerback's assignment in cover 3 is a deep outside third. That's from the hash to the sideline and everything behind it. If you're 3x1 and you're on the 1 receiver side, like this, it essentially becomes a man-to-man coverage and you'll be locked up with the number 1 receiver. The strong safety in cover 3 rolls down to the flat or the strong side of the field, preferably when the quarterback is making his cadence. The free safety will roll over from his cover 2 shell into the midfield to cover that middle third. In cover 3, the strong safety's assignment is the flat curl zone, and the free safety's assignment is the deep middle of the field, the middle third. Cover 4 is 4 zones deep. In this coverage, the cornerback's alignment is 8 yards off the line of scrimmage, squared up with the number 1 wide receiver. Their assignment is the outside quarters of the field. Absolutely nothing should get behind you. When you're in cover 4, it's usually a 3rd and long or a 4th and long scenario. You do not want to get beat deep in this situation. The safeties in cover 4, their alignment will be 10 to 12 yards deep and 2 yards inside of the number 2 receiver. Their assignment will be the middle quarters of the field. Cover 5, or more commonly known as 2-man under, is another man coverage. In this coverage, the corner's alignment will be 5 yards deep with their inside foot in line with the receiver's outside foot. If they're in press, they want to be taking the inside shade. Again, do not let that wide receiver cross your face. Your assignment in 2-man under or cover 5 will be man-to-man with the number 1 receiver. The safety's alignment in 2-man under or cover 5 will be 10 yards deep and about 2 yards outside of the last man on the line of scrimmage, a tight end or an offensive tackle. In 2-man under, you want to be able to get further outside if there's a slot receiver and be about 2 yards inside of the slot receiver's alignment. The safety's assignment in 2-man under will be deep halves of the field, nothing behind you, helping over the top with the outside receivers. Cover 6 is a misleading coverage. Cover 6 on the weak side is essentially a cover 2, but on the strong side becomes a cover 4. On the strong side, the cornerback's aligned about 5 to 8 yards off the ball. The strong side's corner will be deep quarters of the field. The weak side corner will be about 5 yards off the ball with outside leverage. His assignment will be the flat to curl zone, from the hash to the sideline and 10 yards back. The safety's alignment will be 10 to 12 yards deep and 2 yards inside of the number 2 receiver. The free safety on the weak side will have a deep half coverage, and the strong safety on the strong side will be in a deep quarter. Catch man is an underused tool, but it is great for battling tight bunch formations. It's basically a man coverage, but you're assigned to a receiver based off their release. The alignment will be the cornerback on outside leverage of the bunch, maybe about 5 yards deep. The linebacker will be inside leverage of the bunch, about 5 yards deep, and the strong safety will be about 10 yards deep from the middle of the bunch. The cornerbacks will be catching the routes that come outside from the bunch and becomes man-on with that outside receiver. The strong safety will catch the middle route that releases from the bunch and will become man-to-man with him. And the linebackers will catch the route that goes inside. Obviously, this coverage is not perfect, but it is a great way to battle crossing releases out of bunch sets. As always, this has been Coach Rose Sports. If you have any questions or ideas for next videos, leave them down in the comments.